Fox players are eating good today. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today I'm going to get to try out a card that we've seen on the other side of the battlefield a few times, but I haven't had a chance to play myself yet. Eumidian Hatchery. And at first it looks like a bad land. You pay a life to add a black mana. Not great for Legacy, but you get a hatchling counter on it. And when this land is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, for each hatchling counter on it, you create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. So, for those of you who have been around long enough to see BITTERBLOSSOM in play, that used to be a very solid card. And this is kind of a BITTERBLOSSOM on a land. Are there some extra steps there? Yes, absolutely, but this is theoretically a pretty powerful thing to staple to a land. And over about the next 2 weeks, I am going to play 3 different Eumidian Hatchery decks. And the first one comes to us from Adam. And Adam's deck list is essentially a Smallpox Lands deck. So we are going to have a few different ways to disrupt our opponent's mana. We have Smallpox, we have Wasteland, and we also have a Singleton Ghost Quarter. And we are hoping to loop these lands with Life from the Loam. This is very, very, very much a Life from the Loam deck. We have Exploration to make our extra land drops, and we have 2 different ways to physically win the game with our lands. We can either do the whole Dark Depths Thespian stage combo and produce a 20/20, or we can make a bunch of Urza Saga tokens and eventually just bury our opponent in those. And we do have the ability to give them haste, and we do have the ability to use our Urza Saga to find whatever combo piece or utility card that we do need. Now, one thing Adam said was that Tamiyo was potentially a problem for the deck, and I tried to patch that up a little bit. So we have main deck Pithing Needle to shut off the Tamiyo Planeswalker, we have Abrupt Decay, we have potentially more answers to it even in the sideboard as well. Hopefully that patches up that weakness a little bit. And we do also have a tutorable Caracas that we can use to bounce Tamiyo while she is still a creature. Let's do a little more dragging here. So this is a very, very, very mana heavy deck. And we are intentionally playing too many lands under the assumption that we end up destroying some number of our own lands intentionally, as that is a potential way that we are going to win the game. And if you count Eumidian Hatchery as another full win condition, that is another way that we can win the game that is dredgeable via Life from the Loam. Now, this deck is a little on the untested side, I would say. We have a lot of things that look like they are producing a reasonable legacy deck, and I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be curious about is, like, what do the ratios look like here? So, for example, this was a deck that squeezed 3 Thoughtseizes in, because Thoughtseize is one of the more important generic answers at addressing combo in the current metagame. Does it need to be a 4th? Can the 4th be in the sideboard? Do I need a 4th Abrupt Decay in the main deck? Do I need to trim some mana sources for some Malevolent Rumbles or other interaction? Those are going to be some of the things that I am going to be thinking about during this league. Malevolent Rumble is just great in any land style deck, but if you are going to have that token sit around and then just sacrifice it to a Smallpox, it's going to feel a little bit less good. With that, let's go ahead and jump into some matches here. Folks, if you need any magic cards, you need your Tabernacle, you need your Scrublands, you need your Eumidian Hatcheries, check out my sponsor, toamagic.com. They're great, you always get free shipping, promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order, even on the really sweet, old, expensive cards. If you're going to MagicCon Atlanta, you can place your order online and pick it up on site. It's super convenient. Alright, let's battle. So, without having played any games with this, I don't know how hard I go on just keeping a Smallpox Eumidian Hatchery hand. I think this hand has enough going for it in terms of lands that I'm willing to keep this. But normally in these sorts of decks, I am looking for a Life from the Loam or an Exploration or a Mox Diamond in order to make a hand capable, and this doesn't have any of those. This one full on may just be a mulligan, but Smallpox is sometimes just absolutely disgusting. So we'll see if I regret keeping this. Justice. I will put a hatchery counter on that for the cost of a life. I will put a hatchery counter on that for the cost of a life. And I will Smallpox. I will get rid of Bojuka Bog here. It enters tapped. And I think I'm just going to get the show on the road here. So it's turn 2. I destroyed my opponent's land. I got rid of a Karn. I produced 2 bodies. And now I can start going aggro with Urza's Saga. We disrupted this, at least for a turn. I'm going to guess that my opponent does not have a basic. Send it. Yeah. Fail to find. What a shame. Opponent does have 3 natural lands in hand. Maybe more. Yeah, I like what's going on here. Send it. 15. It's an ancient tomb. Life is relevant here. That's a terrifying Magic the Gathering card. So I'm going to do this. And then I have to think about what I'm doing here. I think that draw means I just make a construct token. I'm going to take a quick look at my main deck targets, so I can Pithing Needle the One Ring here. I think I am going to do that. So, Needle the One Ring, as I think that's the most broken thing of the stuff that my opponent can do. Put them to 8. Ghost Quarter. I think I just do the thing that makes 2 mana guaranteed and pass. I have 8 on board. I could try not to Ghost Quarter Ancient Tomb, but I'm like a little worried about like Grim Monolith into Key if I leave this around. But we crush game 1, which is nice because I'm very scared of these colorless artifact decks. Damping Sphere is fine. Disruptor Flutes, Null Rods are fine. And then there's like a tier 2 of cards that I can be thinking about. I don't need this Spell Bomb. Probably don't need Caracas here. Probably don't need Bojuka Bog here. I'm probably keeping the rest of the lands. So I guess this becomes a game of what am I cutting? Map is a fine card that I think I'm just going to get rid of, because I think I'm finding Pithing Needle or Haywire Might most of the time. Crop rotations are extra strip mines. Smallpox blows up lands. It's kind of uniquely bad versus Glaring Fleshraker. Decay is slow. It's like very reasonable. Answers Tezzeret, for example, just cleanly by itself. Could go down Mox Diamonds in the face of boarding in Null Rod. Grain count is a little low for Force of Vigor, which is why I'm only playing a few. But it is a fast card. Let's try this. But like, there's definitely other tools here that are perfectly reasonable. Null Rod Haywire Might combo. Null Rod is a great card. That said, this hand does not cast the majority of its spells. I'm unsure if I want to keep this one. If I keep it, I'm just trusting that my deck is mostly mana, and that I will draw more lands. I think I'm going to ship this. This is certainly better. I can win with something else later. Eumidian Hatchery Crop Rotation is kind of cool. Planar Nexus immediately. I think I'm going to be doing something very awkward here, and just immediately cashing in my current 1 green source to Wasteland. I think I just have to believe in my deck to produce mana. Cool. There's an Urza Saga. I'm going to play that, and if nothing else, I'm ticking towards Mox Diamond. That's up to 3 mana. That's a Glaring Fleshraker. 8 that has slipped into play. That is a very scary card. I'm going to go yaw, pass. I am not far away from doing something broken, but my opponent gets the first chance to do something disgusting. Mishra's Mishra's Research Desk is occasionally a flex slot in these lists. Yikes. Something that I'm not overly impressed with It's technically some card advantage that you can snag off of Urza's Saga. Opponent not attacking, doesn't know exactly what to expect. I think that's fair. There's some boots. I'm going to float a mana. Does it have to be Pithing Needle? I don't want it to be Pithing Needle, but it might have to be. None of my opponent's lands make green. This might be a game where I just clunked around a little bit too much. I think my opponent is going to bury me in cards. And I don't mean off of this, I mean off of whatever other haymakers they have. It's never just one here. So there's the desk. My opponent just plays that land immediately. And I'll take a little damage here from the Fleshraker. There's Tezzeret. So it's the -7 that is problematic for my deck. The 0 ability is less scary right now. I expect that my opponent is just going to tutor for something else that triggers Glaring Fleshraker. Soul Guide Lantern in respect of Life from the Loam, that's perfectly reasonable. So goodbye to Wasteland. Let's just yield to this. Opponent not attacking Glaring Fleshraker in here. I am going to keep dealing damage to myself with this. Rough. Opponent goes to 12. They have a fair bit of mana off the Urza's Workshops here. I think I am dead to a Causal X command. X equals 13. That'll do. Yep, I will unfortunately concede there. I did not play Magic that game. I fully believe that it is correct to just try to attack my opponent's mana at the beginning of the game and, like, play the game out in that capacity. Maybe I want more answers to Fleshraker. I could go down Thought Seizes. I'm trying to have my opponent not cast any spells. I don't know how realistic that is, but it's really what I want to do. I'm going to turn a Thoughtseize into a Dismember and call that good. This hand doesn't do anything. I Thoughtseize away something. I start ticking this up. I have an answer to Glaring Fleshraker specifically, but I have no land destruction. I have no real plan. This is a pretty hateful pile of cards that I'm going to keep. I think I will keep one Dismember here. Do I have a Mortuary? No, I don't. Regardless, I will keep this. Burn past the turn. Opponent is on 5 cards and passes the turn. Oh boy. I think I need my lands right now. I think I will go for Jumping Sphere first. So this is just making 2 total colorless mana. So we did cut that off. Grim Monolith is still on the table though. Portable Hole. Inconvenient. I would now like to draw a mana source. Lotus Petal gets played out. Okay. Null Rod Crop Rotation is pretty darn good. Oh, there's the Null Rod. Crop Rotation. Sacrifice Bayou. Get a Wasteland. I guess the white matters for Planar Nexus now that I've seen Portable Hole, so I'll go for that one. Ooh, opponent is passing the turn here. My Mox Diamond is not the best draw, but I am any land away from having a 20/20. Opponent has some more mana. I would love to see Glaring Fleshraker here. Nice. There's a new Lotus Petal. There's Dismember with 2 life and some black. My opponent does end up with 1 mana to carry over. That is not castable currently, although damn, it would be good. My opponent has a chance to cast a 4-drop here. Not happening though. Great. Damn it, deck. I believe I am north of 50% mana. That is not scary immediately, but it is very scary long term. Okay, there's mana. So now we are just hoping for no Causal X command. And it is possible that my opponent has one and has been saving it. So I guess let's find out. Yeah. The one with no ice counters. You have it. Seems like no. Let's double check. I mean, I guess my opponent can cast it in response if they have it. Yeah, they had it. That's frustrating. I think if you have it, you do it while I'm fully tapped out and where no crop rotation can get involved. So Null Rod is currently off. So is, sorry, One Ring is currently off due to Null Rod. I think I'm still taking this anyway. This is a fog later. My opponent can use both Eldrazi Spawn to make a 4/4. And my goal is to Smallpox these things away. My own Null Rod is a little problematic right now. Lava Spur Boots is probably the most terrifying thing. My opponent has named Urza's Saga. I don't have the mana to activate my Urza's Saga anyway. I am taking 8 here. Maze is good. I don't think it's enough. This is a start. So there's Haywire Might. There's Maze of Ith. So I get a Chump Block and Maze, one of these, and then I get another chance to draw a black land for Smallpox. Both crash in. I can't use this activated ability due to my own Null Rod, obviously. Use the other. Gain 2 life, which may be relevant. Life totals are tight here. Opponent is going for an artifact. Getting another portable hole. That is horrific. I have a life from the Loam that I cannot cast. My opponent plays portable hole, and then these are 9/9s, and I am unfortunately dead. I think there's a very good chance I win that one if I just hit on my land drop, but we didn't, and that's magic. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay, opening hand has no colored mana here. I am not willing to keep that. Let's mulligan. That's the same problem again. We will go to 5. Yeah. Yavimaya, Exploration, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, Life from the Loam. Wasteland also a consideration in there. I think I'm not going to keep the Wasteland, though. Opponent also going to 5. So let's get our Exploration going. I think I will throw down Dark Depths here. Oh, are we just gonna die on turn 1? That's fine. That's not me dying on turn 1. But I sure don't have that Wasteland that could disrupt my opponent to prevent a turn 2. I get to produce a 20/20 on turn 2. What do I want to draw here? Needle, Spellbomb, Thoughtseize, Wasteland, Ghost Quarter. Can I Smallpox? I can't Smallpox, right? Can't Smallpox. So I want you, not you. Then Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, not Bog. I want that in deck. So I have 15 draws that are reasonable, or 6 5 dredges that are reasonable. But I don't have the black for Thoughtseize. So those are actually out. So I have 1 look at 12 cards, or I have 3 looks at 5 cards. So it looks like I hit about 1 in 4 times off of Life from the Loam, which is better than the 1 in 12 that I otherwise would get. Did not hit this time. So let's see if we're dead. Oh my god, we're not dead. That's nice. Stage, copy depths, keep the one with no ice counters. We win. Cool. I would like my Graveyard Hate, Fairy Macabre, Endurance. I would like my Null Rods and Disruptor Flutes. Damping Sphere is probably good enough. I don't need Caracas here. I probably don't need Maze of Ith here. The rest of the lands are probably fine. I think I'm going to go Abrupt Decays out. Those are usually misses. Not always, but usually misses. I'm going to say that map is slow. I'm going to say Lava Spur Boots are not the tutor target I'm usually going to be getting. We have answers to Charbelcher and the graveyard-based stuff here. My green count for Endurance is a little low. And I'm thinking about cutting 2 more explorations. Maybe I can't cut that because it allows me to Goldfish with Thespian Stage Dark Depths quickly. I could just not play the Endurances. Maybe I can't get away with that. Alright, my green count is low. But we do have green. This is turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Damping Sphere, and I have an Endurance as well. This is pretty ideal, honestly. Still can just effectively die on turn 1 to our Belcher being put in play, though. 17. Duress. Opponent's got 2 directions they can do. They can take my Thoughtseize, or they can take my green card that goes with Endurance. They're going for Thoughtseize. Exploration is another green card that I could use to pitch to Endurance. Here we go. That is a Goblin Charbelcher. That is a tapped land. I'm not dead yet. I would like to draw a green source. Opponent apologizes for being the bad guy. They say they're sorry. You know what you did. M. Dunnig, you know what you did. But I appreciate the apology. I hope this deck is not legal for much longer. My Damping Sphere doesn't do much right now. My opponent only needs to cast 1 spell to win the game with Charbelcher. So I think what I'm going to do is just put Eumidian Hatchery into play and not cast this in case I do want to cast multiple spells. Alright, that's just a land. I'm fucking dead. Alright, let's see if there's anything interesting here. I imagine that the answer is probably no. So there are Pacts still in, there's Lion's Eye Diamond, there's Beseech the Mirror as additional copies. Sure, that's all fine. I still think I have to play my Graveyard Hate in respect of this. But if my opponent is going this crazy with Charbelcher, maybe I play Haywire Might over 1 Endurance here. Yes. My opponent is on 4. Mox Diamond, discard Boseiju, play Swamp, play Disruptor Flute on Goblin Charbelcher. Then I have Endurance pitching Life from the Loam if my opponent does something broken with the graveyard immediately. Yep, nope, just full on GG's. I understand that after the mulligan to 4, you are probably not winning in a fair capacity from there. And Life from the Loam Boseiju, even though it's very slow, can obliterate every land from there. Okay. As a trend, my opening hands are mana lighter, or rather colored mana lighter than I would like them to be. I do have 18 colored sources. There's a lot of hands where I don't do the things that I would like to be doing. I have Hatchery into Saga into at some point potentially Wasteland my own Hatchery, and this is all fine. I'm going to fish a little bit. This is fine. I think in the dark here, I'm going to get rid of Pithing Needle. There's Boseiju into Exploration, and Caracas. Caracas does not cast my cards like these. Maybe I have to be slightly more conservative. Well, shit. Alright. That's not great. Respectfully. Fuck. Alright. There's a Dark Depths with no ice counters. So if I can destroy that Blood Moon, I'm actually in very good shape. However, I think that's very hard for me to do. I have 1 basic forest, so I need to hit basic forest and Boseiju. One has 2 mountains. My Dark Depths is not doing me any favors. Can't even manually remove ice counters right now. A tragedy. This is where the threats are going to start coming down. It's not a fast threat, but it is a powerful one. I am playing an awful lot of not magic. Fury and Chrome Mox going away. Land drop 4. Opponent has 5 mana after Goblin Shaman attacks. I'm going to take 2. 18. There's a Pyrogoyf. It's a moderate-sized Pyrogoyf, but copying a moderate-sized Pyrogoyf is still probably enough to kill me. I'm going to take 4 this turn at minimum. Maybe more if my opponent puts more things into their graveyard. That's the 1 ring. Feels like my opponent's got this one. So another treasure, 4 points of damage. No playables. My opponent will go down to 17. They'll have 5 cards in hand. It does not take much to kill me from here. By that, I mean kill me immediately. Like a broadside, for example, will just do it. Oh, this is fun. I'm happy for my opponent. So Pyrogoyf sees Pyrogoyf. So I take 4 to the face. And then my opponent can reflection and copy Pyroglyph, and then put 3 more of these triggers on the stack. So even though this is only a 2-power creature, that is 10 direct damage right there. And then the rest of this just finishes me off. I will concede. We got stomped. So I would like a couple of answers to Blood Moon effects. Do I want Abrupt Decay? Abrupt Decay is fine. And then I can think about some Disruptor Flute, Null Rod type stuff. I can think about Tabernacles and Dismembers as well. So basically not those 5. I'll get rid of Caracas and probably get rid of Bojuka Bog here. It technically has some text versus Pyroglyph, but I don't know how much that actually matters. Spell Bomb can certainly go here. What about Smallpox? Is that actually good here? I'm not sure that it is. My opponent has a whole bunch of tokens, but not as many as like the Goblin Rabblemaster era created. I think I'm going to get rid of Smallpox and try to load up on things that answer the One Ring and creatures. All right, Disruptor Flute, Disruptor Flute, Disruptor Flute, please. Okay, I was just about at the point of exiting the game, but Disruptor Flute did go away. Okay, don't think I am keeping that. I am off one of my colors. This is awkward. Does not have a game plan to win. I can shut off the One Ring, but that's all that this does. I don't think I can do this. Wow. Again, the colors don't work here. I have Exploration and Life from the Loam. I am on 5. Maybe on 5 I am keeping this, and if I draw a green source, I have a very strong hand, and if I don't, I'm just dead. I think I'm just going to accept that. Hatchery Pass. Basic Mountain. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide. Fable. That's fine. I will lose a gajillion D life and just dismember immediately. Okay. When you pay for this on Magic Online and you have a black producing land, you need to click your life total first or it doesn't work properly. That does not work here. I'll play that land, but I missed on the green source. And my opponent also did not play a wastelandable land, so that was a very bad 1-2 punch that was not in my favor. I think this is better than going to 4, but it doesn't feel good. Alice and Fiery Confluence, sure. We're chilling. I'm going to make some more friends here. I don't think 2 2/2s is enough to win the game. I'm not going to wasteland that immediately. We have missed out on our mana sources. The opponent is getting close to having an active reflection of Kiki Jiki. Yep. I suspect that means I lose. I'm going to do this. That's my way to win the game. Okay. That's late. So that is colored mana. Ox Diamond, discard stage, Life from the Loam on 3 basic mountains. Yeah. Don't think it matters which basic mountain I play. I'm gonna hold back. Holding back probably keeps the real Magus of the Moon from attacking in, and my opponent just attacks in with a copy. Fiery Confluence. So that's 1 damage to every creature, a bunch of damage to my face, destroy my Mox Diamond. I think I am now effectively dead. I can stop this from activating. I still just get hit for 4 in the face twice in a row. I think that's good there. We got thoroughly walloped. GG. Okay, this opening hand has Exploration, but nothing to really do with it. So I go Exploration, play Maze of Ith, Exploration, play Dark Depths. I have no further land drops from there, no plan to really win the game. I will mulligan this. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'll keep this pitch the Abrupt Decay, and as long as Life from the Loam doesn't eat a Force of Negation, I will find something to do with Graveyard stuff that's pretty strong. So I will start off on Exploration. I think I will do this off of a basic here. So yeah, 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 yeah. And this way I can have basic forest, basic swamp, and never be able to be wastelanded off of Life from the Loam. Mountain, Lotus Petal, and pass the turn. I will go ahead and go for the basic swamp here. Now I do only have 1 fetchable left. These Verdant Catacombs aren't quite as good as they look. Never mind, they're fine. So, Life from the Loam. Play one Verdant. Mox Diamond the other. Discard this. Pass the turn. Then we just kind of count on Life from the Loam to do something cool. Urza, Saga, Eumidian Hatchery, maybe Wasteland. We technically don't know that our opponent is Moonstompy yet. They could be a, like, Burgy Red Storm deck as well. 4 mana. Arn the Great Creator. Armad's Crypt is insane here. Yep. So goodbye Life from the Loam. That's a big blow. Mox Diamond is also off. We'll thin the deck of the Bayou. That does not hit Karn. Karn's just gonna kill the Mox Diamond. And we're chilling. I mean, yeah. I'll cast it so I can use it in the future. I'm not going to play that Verdant since it does not have fetchables. Let's see what Karn tutors now. That resolves. Thespian Stage is a reasonable name. I don't need to use this Abrupt Decay immediately. Dredge. I'll miss. Man, Smallpox would have been reasonable. Ye old Life from the Loam with no targets. Karn pluses on Pithing Needle, that's fine. I'm fine just taking a hit from that. There are way scarier things that I might need to Abrupt Decay. Dredge. Well, there's a Wasteland. That's a start. Play Wasteland. Pass turn. Oh, Lightning Bolt my face. Actually might be Painter. City of Traders. It is Painter. Karn pluses on Pithing Needle again. I'll take 1, go to 12. I think I'm going to go ahead and just decay this. I think I always want that dead. And I am very, very, very likely just wastelanding. Let's pop out my graveyard here. So, Junk City of Traders. Life from the Loam, that singular wasteland back. Play it, and pass turn. So much for, like, hitting some lands and, like, just absolutely popping the fuck off with exploration. Adam, I think we need some more green-black fetchables in here. A little less greed in terms of the utility. I'll take 1. I am at 11. Reg. My god. I'm not crazy, right? I am an insane number of lands. Yes, I am 30 lands. And that is 13 non-lands in graveyard dredged over. Okay, 12. The Mox Diamond went there, naturally, I guess. Alright. Alright. I guess small mistake on my end. I did dredge over another Life from the Loam. I do not have to cast that one there, I guess. So, opponent's tutoring. Voting is fine. The opponent can essentially use this as Rashadan Port, but that doesn't really matter. I'll dredge this. Okay, see, this is the shit I was talking about. So, Wasteland, Ancient Tomb, Life from the Loam, target, Oseju, Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, 1 and 2. How many basics is Painter running? The random list that I pulled up had 9. Okay, so those are in there. Play Ghost Quarter as a land, play Wasteland as a land. I don't know that I Boseiju any of this stuff. I can just bring my lands back. We're good. Weird game. It may be correct for my opponent to just plus on this. Oh, I'll float a mana. Like, this is not going to get them anywhere. That's fine. I'll wasteland that in a second. Agatha Soul Cauldron. Hate that. That eats 1 life from the Loam. I can do this at end step. I think it was maybe correct to eat the Wasteland there, honestly. I have 2 life from the Loams in yard. So, dredge one of these bad boys. Saga, Boseiju, Wasteland. Hold on. Saga, Boseiju, Wasteland. Yeah. Wasteland this. I think I now have to Boseiju that. Because I want Saga to start ticking up. Then do this. Cool. Another Saga. That's not a problem. Karn tutoring, maybe. My opponent has enough mana to play something like the One Ring here. Disruptor Flute. Well, that resolves. Let's see what my opponent does with that. Because that's actually surprisingly nuanced. They're going with Saga. Okay. Engineer can get a little uncomfortable because my opponent can have access to both Painter Servant and Grindstone. And more Agatha's Soul Cauldron. It's just Phyrexian Dragon Engine, though. Alright. What if Bochukabog? Thespian Stage. Life from the Loam. Boseiju. Wasteland. Or other Boseiju. We can win eventually. So play Wasteland. Wasteland this. Now it gets more interesting in regards to that Goblin Engineer. I think I'm chilling. I think I cannot use both Boseijus at the same time, or my opponent gets Agatha's Soul Cauldron into play. Great Furnace. Disruptor Flute becomes a creature. That's fine. That sends in. I can go ahead and do this. And it's okay. Oh wait, it's done as... This isn't a target like Goblin Welder is. I can't disrupt by holding this up. Ooh. Okay, that's not great. Okay. But now I get an Urza Saga token? I lose a lot here. Hopefully I'll be fine. But that's not a problem. Okay. So, activate. I have a creature for the first time. I think the Engineer is actually the bigger problem. The Engineer is all of this stuff. Let's Pithing Needle on Goblin Engineer. Play Wasteland. Wasteland this ass. And maybe I can get this to kill Karn. Game's fucking weird. Bridge becomes a creature. I probably want to kill this anyway. I think I am on this plan. 5 basic mountains. Haven't run out yet. Good, honest, turn 12, grindy magic. Go to combat. Send it Karn. Karn down to 2 loyalty. I don't get to kill this Karn very quickly. Hate that. Karn just pluses on to nothing. You've got it. Alright. That's something. I think I am now not attacking Karn. Looting. Red Elemental Blast goes away there. Gladys? Gladys wins from this position. Welder is a problem. Thespian Stage. Okay. I think I'm going to do a quick, do you have more basic mountains check. Because if another game drags on this long, this number does matter. There are at least 6. This is a 3-3. I think at 8 life I'm on the defensive. I don't know, maybe that's not true. Karn goes to 2 loyalty. I meant to activate Urza Saga, and I didn't. I'm thinking about a lot of things that are about to happen, and I'm not happy with any of them. This is a pending problem. The Welder is a right now problem. Fuck. Guess that's a reason to not use Ghost Quarter, because I can disrupt Welder with that. Wow, what a punish. Grindstone is interesting. Grind on me, and then Weld Painter in response. Yup. That'll do. GG. Very, very grindy game. The Karn was not actually all that good against me. I mean, it did a lot, but it's turn 15, and that Karn happened on, like, turn 2. I have a ton of tools. I think I'm going to work this way. I think I'm going to take stuff out and then fill the deck, rather than figuring out what I do want. I think I want Caracas out. I think most of the time I'm not the most worried about things attacking me. That's very, very secondary here. Most of the rest of this stuff is fine. I have to think about Smallpox. I think Smallpox is fine. A lot of this is how long does this game go. Loot is great. I'm going to say Decay is good. Haywire Might is good. Null Rods are good. And then all of these are reasonable too. I could get rid of Smallpox. So much value when it works, though. I could get rid of Mox Diamonds. What if I get rid of Mox Diamonds? Then I play, like, Force of Vigor and 2 of these cards in some combination. Let's do that. Hatchery Smallpox. No ability to cast these right now. But this sure is neat. I am going to try keeping this. And hopefully this game goes on long enough that I can do something kind of broken later on with this stuff. I am unsure how quickly I cash in Hatchery. I don't think I'm going to cast it until my opponent plays a creature. I think I will get both ticking up immediately. City of Traders. Fuck. Alright, I think I'm dead to that. That's rough. I boarded out Moxen, too. Okay. I mean, I have things like Force of Vigor that I can draw to. Abrupt Decay is an out to it, but is very, very hard to cast, obviously. Uh-huh. Alright. If I hit Basic Forest, that is a full out to the Blood Moon. But I imagine that my opponent will dispatch me in short order here. Chaos Defiler to graveyard. Sure. Soul Cauldron, you've got it. This is something that can put a little pressure on. My opponent could exile. Alright. Don't mind that as a draw. Anyway, my opponent could exile this creature to just start swinging in for more points of damage immediately. Sure. These things are going to eat me alive. That is not Basic Forest. Opponent gets to loot. I'm just dead on board next turn, right? So I get attacked for 12 here. I don't get attacked for 12 here, never mind. I am at 9. Goblin Engineer. Sure. There's Painter. There's Grindstone. Opponent can activate that on Goblin Engineer to get a Goblin Engineer with haste and then activate Grindstone targeting me. A measly 6 turns of magic there before I am dispatched. GG's, that was really fun. Okay, opening hand has 7 mana sources. I have a bunch of things that blow up lands, but there's no payoff here. I have to mulligan this. I don't have green mana. I do have enough land to play Magic. I'm gonna keep this and try to work towards stage and depths. I think I'm going to do this off of Eumidian Hatchery so that I potentially have, like, wastelanding my own land as an out if I need to kill some planeswalkers or something. Flooded Strand. This is a little insidious. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Pithing Needle. See if my opponent fetches in response. I will just name Flooded Strand if they don't. And maybe they get a wastelandable land that I get to take out here. Very nice. I would love information off of the Surveil land here. I don't get it. I'm going to name something that kills me quickly. I think I'm going to go for, like, Nomad's Encore, in case this is Nadu. Just, like, stop a thing that could kill me in a low to the ground fashion, and then hopefully I just assemble Dark Depths combo. Well, I think I called the right deck if we're in Bant. There's an Abrupt Decay that's not castable. I could go the Urza Saga route for this game. If I go the Urza Saga route, I don't get got as bad by Swords to Plowshares. And I do have game 1 Spell Bomb. Okay. And I could still Expedition Map if I wanted to. That's fine. Misty. Sure. Oh, it is up the beanstalk. You've got it. In which case, I'm totally fine playing a longer Urza Saga game. And not just get blown out by Solitude Swords to Plowshares. Whatever. Let's keep this ticking up. Crop Rotation doesn't do anything yet. There's Thespian stage. Crop Rotation will let me sacrifice this once I have a few more lands on it. Sorry, a few more hatchling counters on it. This means our Pithing Needle was a miss, but that's fine. What the fuck is this Frog Druid? Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4 or greater, draw a card, gain a life, and get a +1/+1 counter. Add X mana, where X is this power. Spend it only to cast creature spells that are big. Okay. Got it. That's Abrupt Decayable, and I can also answer that via Karakas. So I think that means that I just go ahead and do this now. Exploration as the draw. I think I want this extra body. 5 counters on this. That's a Solitude, which is devastating. So that means 2 draws happen immediately for that. This gets evoked. I do this thing. I get a 3/3, which will become a 4/4 in a second. think I want Mox Diamond. I think the green matters. So this does not get to attack. I think this now becomes Crop Rotation this. Make 5 friends. Very nice. Get Caracas. Send that out of play. And pass with 9 power in play. Not the best at casting this Abrupt Decay. I can crack the Expedition map if I need to, though. Opponent's definitely cooking. Ooh. Very cool. This is sweet. So my opponent can use that. Oh, to get Mockingbird. That's an X cost for the fucking frog. That's cool. Oh, and there's Ocelot Pride. Guide of Souls in here too. Yeah. So then this goes away with Warp. My opponent can cast it later. I'm just going to confirm Tabernacle sideboard games. Yes. Okay. The first strike here is annoying. I think I am just doing this, going to combat, sending in for 5, holding this one back. Oh my god, it fucking flies. Right. That's just an objective error on my end. That one's got to go. That one's got to go. 14. Should be 13, but I fucked up. Uh-huh. Stop. Stop it. Alright, we gotta do something here. It might just be Dark Depths time. This game is going to start slipping away. So, yeah. Kind of frustrating in terms of the mana. Maybe I don't get rid of this. I want to get rid of it. Hell yeah. No. This deck, with Solitude, presumably Swords, Ocelot Prides, Guide of Souls, Flying Mockingbird blockers, tons of card advantage, Warp to tutor this stuff up. This is not good. That also has flying. Yep. I think we are getting out-dirtled pretty hard. I need like a life from the Loam. Are we staring at each other? That's the regular cat. That's the regular cat. So my opponent is going to throw away the regular cat to trigger the other 2, which is reasonable. Because that's going to be very good with the City's Blessing. So there's 2 cats. There's a lot of cats. Target Dark Depths. Yeah. Keep the one with no ice counters. This is a start. My opponent is going to lose a flying cat here. Or an Overlord. Okay. I'm not sure why my opponent is intentionally getting rid of both. Okay. Yes. I gain a lot of life. But this is going to be some bullshit. I think the Beanstalk is the scariest long-term thing. This is not great either. Basic Island, sure. I technically should have played that, I think. Opponent's deck is sweet. It's fine. I really thought I was going to be going wide of my opponent until I found Ocelot Pride Guide of Souls. Yes. So this now gets to be Guide of Souls. Oh no, it's Mockingbird instead. We're just going to make another cat. No, it's another Hierarch. Okay. So that's how opponent's going to play it. That's perfectly valid. This is a 7/5. I could throw all of the insects in front of it and everything. If everything works, it does get rid of this. But I don't think that leads to a winning position for me if I throw away all of those bodies at once. A single Swords to Plowshares makes that all fall apart. Another Ocelot Pride. Yep. Hate this. Warped one goes away. My opponent has 2 of those stored up. There's another Dark Depths. Yes, I'm chilling. I think this is one of those times where I'm still in the game because my life total is high, but it does not feel good. Alright, little buddy's coming in. I just yield to this exalted stuff. Not a Swords to Plowshares deck. I will do the Dark Depths thing again. Maybe gain another 20 life. Yeah. Block. It's gone. Starfield Shepherd from Warp. Getting Guide of Souls. And I'm not very far away from just total and absolute destruction. My opponent can now just play the Felia that I know about. Mist Caller. That is a wild game 1 choice. I guess it's part of a tutor package, right? So it's like actually pretty reasonable. All right, so if you haven't seen this happen before, it's not great. So my opponent is going to get a lot of energy, and they're going to make some cats. And then they're going to make cats for their cats. And then they are going to make cats for their cats for their cats. They are now at 31 life. Merilage is not lethal. So like I can attack, they can chump block with one of these flyers, and then probably beat me over the course of 2 turns pretty easily. This is also just a valid chump blocker here. I think at this point I am going to tap out. I don't have ways to force this through like you might in a traditional depths deck. I want that Tabernacle. That's for damn sure. Probably want Haywire Might as a tutor target for up the Beanstalk. Probably want Abrupt Decay for my opponent's various creatures. I should think about Dismember as well. I'm going to get rid of Spellbomb, get rid of Pithing Needle, probably get rid of Thoughtseize, and do something resembling this. I could try to play Endurance just as another aggro body. I don't see how I keep up with my opponent without Life from the Loam. And even then, I think it's going to be tough. This just goes card negative very, very quickly. I do not like this one. Okay. We are playing an Urza Saga beatdown game. So I go Bayou, Exploration, Urza Saga, Haywire Might on turn 1. And then make a land drop on turn 2. I think my mana is tied up. I think I'm going to get rid of Abrupt Decay. Land, Exploration, Saga, Might, and here's to hoping that I can run over my opponent with Caracas to bounce Velia out of play so I don't just lose my Urza Saga tokens to that. Forest and Hierarch. That's fine. Stage is interesting. I could go the Thespian stage copy route. I don't think I'm going to, but that is an option. 19. Opponent's on 3 mana now. Beans have arrived. I will probably just cash in Haywire Might before this starts doing stuff. That's fine. I think I will go ahead and take that out. Not give my opponent a chance to cast a Solitude and do something cool with it. Mana, Expedition Map, Fetch, Dark Depths. Yeah. I am going to go all in here. I am very scared of my opponent's deck as the game goes along. I am going to try to stop the game from going along accordingly. There's Depths. There's the extra land to go with it. Attack for 1. 18. Opponent has 5 mana this turn, though. That is a hard cast Overlord of the Flood Pits. There's their flying blockers so that they don't immediately die. What if I drew Smallpox? Oh, they would just sack a Noble Hierarch. That's the answer to that. Stage. Target Depths. Keep the one with no ice counters. I've got a friend. It was Solitude in addition to that. Fuck. I don't know if I went the Urza Saga beatdown route that works either, just versus getting attacked for 7 at a time here. I need to draw something good very quickly. I wonder if 2 turns ago the basic swamp I played should have been Mox Diamond to grow this to a 2/2. Probably not the most relevant thing in the world, but you know, good habits always yield to the exalted triggers. The good news is this is not killing me in 3 turns, killing me in about 6. But one of the things I said was I don't know how I keep up with my opponent without Life from the Loam, and I stand by that. Yes. And there's more. It's just a Mockingbird on the Overlord. Yeah, that's a gross interaction. My opponent now has a disgusting degree of interaction. I can Crop Rotation for a Tabernacle that ties up my opponent's mana, but I'm still getting beaten to death. I think this is the point where I concede. I think my opponent very clearly has this one won. GG's. All right, Adam. Eumidian Hatchery did some things a couple of times, but let's wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Good starting point, needed some polish. So the first thing I would do is try to get a few more lands that produce colored mana into the deck. And I think that means that some number of these need to go. Like maybe you just cut some of the silver bullets here, like go down Ghost Quarter Caracas Mazavith, or I don't know, another Verdant, another fetchable or two. Like maybe you even play two Underground Mortuaries. I could see that as being reasonable. I really want Malevolent Rumble in this deck, but I don't really know how to make it work and to keep all of these cards in there. That conceptually just doesn't make sense to me. But I want Rumble to help find life from the Loam, because this deck, I think, really needs the life from the Loam. I don't have anything super unfair here like the One Ring that just absolutely steals games. Like, I have to fight hard for all of them, and Life from the Loam is one of my best tools to work towards wins. And when I don't have it, the deck doesn't feel nearly as strong. Sideboard cards felt reasonable. The sideboard probably needs some polish in terms of like making sure the in-out numbers work. I have a respectable mixture of cards here. I was definitely finding that sometimes it was a little hard to play everything that I wanted. And we noticed some things like the green pips are potentially a little light for endurance and force of vigor in post-sideboard configurations. Generally speaking, I think we played some neat games of Magic today, but this deck is not particularly proactive, and we are very much in a proactive slam your own wins sort of legacy right now. It is very hard to control everything. And with that, I think I will call it a day. I hope you all enjoyed this, even though we took a little bit of a beating today. I think there were some neat games of Magic in here. All right, see ya!